Time now for Money Monday. When it comes to retirement, we all want to retire financially secure. And if you're already retired, you want to have peace of mind that you can stay comfortable.
And that's where Jeff Vogan of Premier Retirement Planning and Wealth Management comes in to give us the good advice to keep us comfortable even through retirement. It's a pleasure to have you here again.
Well, thanks. Great to be here.
So a lot of people, they may not quite make it to their ideal retirement situation, right? I mean, it's just one of those things that might happen. But let's talk about the mistakes that got them there in the first place and how they can avoid them.
Okay, well, I think there's a just kind of an interesting saying that I've been, it's kind of a mantra of mine, and that is what got you to retirement doesn't always get you through retirement. In other words, there's a lot of strategy changes and just philosophies about how your money needs to work for you changes once you get to retirement. But I think the main thing that retirees don't, I think anybody doesn't do, I think just if we broaden the scope here, retirement planning is made up of not just stocks, bonds, and cash. We call them 5 pillars of planning in our company. We use the imagery of pillars quite a bit, just as symbols of strength and support. And those symbols include your investment strategy, your income strategy. When you are not working, getting a paycheck from an employer anymore, you need that income, and generally speaking, your investment supplies some of that, unless you've got huge pensions and you don't need it. But everybody has some investments and probably want to take some income from it. And then there's also the tax piece. Many people think that healthcare, which is another piece of a pillar, is the biggest expense you'll have in retirement. But most of the people that we work with find that taxes are actually the biggest expense. And then of course there's the legacy planning, the wills, trust, how you leave what you want behind. So it's like a big piece of the puzzle, or it's many pieces of a puzzle. When I build puzzles, I look at the picture on the box.
Right, as your plan, your goal.
I don't just start picking pieces out and try to put them together. And unfortunately, people, first of all, don't know how many pieces they need, and if they do get the pieces, have trouble sometimes putting them together. So from that context, you need a plan. And people don't really have a plan, they just have pieces of the puzzle. And I think that's where we come in as advisors, is to help them fit those pieces of the puzzle together so that they get that pretty picture of their ideal retirement life that they want to.
It's a fantastic analogy that you came up with there. I mean, now it gets everybody to grasp the concept of planning for retirement. So if you're already retired, you already had your plan in place, what are the things that people can do to improve their situation while they're retired?
Well, there's plenty. One is to manage risk better. Obviously, the last time we saw some market corrections, or a serious market correction, was about 10 years ago, and people who weren't retired then probably felt that it was okay because the market came back and everything's okay and it'll do that again. The market does come back. Of course, the last 2 market corrections that came back over a 5-year period, it's kind of a long, lengthy time to wait for your money to get back to even. So I think paring down risk and just reviewing that roadmap, so to speak. Your financial plan, or that picture on the puzzle, is like a roadmap to your ideal retirement life. And it can't just last 5 or 10 years. You need to see how it's going to look 20 or 30 years down the road as we're living longer. A longer-term plan is important.
And there are those large firms out there, right, that are really big. They may not be so individualized. Yours is a smaller, local, independent firm. Why should we work with something like that rather than something that's big and impersonal?
Well, it is big and impersonal. There's the retail, the big box shop that sells stocks, bonds, or they're just an insurance place, or maybe they just do estate planning, or maybe they are an accountant that does a little bit of tax planning here and there, or they're an insurance guy that sells you long-term care. That's like 5 different puzzles, not one puzzle that has the pieces fitting together. And in many cases, those advisors, that people may have 5 different advisors for 5 different pillars or 5 different aspects of their plan, and they never even talk to each other. I mean, how is that going to work? When you deal with a small company like us, we're not great at every thing for everybody, but we're really good at the retiree and that transition from working to retirement, and we're really good at all 5 of those pieces, and we can focus on those. And also, being small, we're independent.
Right.
We can go out and find whatever product is the best in class for each of those areas, and we're fiduciaries, which means we have to put the client first, we have to disclose all conflicts of interest, and we have to make sure that their interest is before ours.
Conflict of interest, yes, that's what everybody wants to know up front. Like, what am I getting with this? Thanks so much for being here.
You're welcome.
And if you're interested in scheduling a complimentary retirement financial review to make sure that your ideal retirement plan is secure, visit premret.com, or you can call the number on your screen, 520-780-9059.